If you guys are watching this on YouTube after the live and this clip that I'm about to play from GetUp is not on here, it's because YouTube made us take it out because of copyright. YouTube's kind of stupid. I hate YouTube. But anyway, here we go.
I'm trading Deshaun Watson and a second-round pick to the New York Giants for Daniel Jones. And hear me out. If you're the Cleveland Browns, you have Dorian Thompson-Robinson, you have Joe Flacco, and now a 27-year-old Daniel Jones who has 1 year left of guaranteed money for $36 million and an enormous amount of flexibility moving forward. And if you're the Giants, you're getting Deshaun Watson, who's 29, who's making $46 million a year for the next 3 years and a second-round pick. And to me, you need a frontline difference-making quarterback. Because, Bart, right now, if you're the Giants, how in the world do you win the NFC when you have to beat San Francisco, Green Bay, Dallas, Philly, and Detroit?
With Daniel Jones, right.
Yeah, with Daniel Jones. So to me, Deshaun Watson hasn't played well the last couple of years, but he has a high upside, and he's only 29 years old.
So
who says no?
All right, hang on. Before you guys even go, you guys want to, let me say something here.
Okay.
A 148 and 156. What do you think that is?
A 148 and a 156?
Yeah, what do you think those two numbers represent? That's Mike Tannenbaum's career as a GM.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So maybe this guy doesn't give advice.
Okay.
He's not a good trader.
Yeah, on personnel decisions for good football teams, because that was maybe the dumbest thing The Giants should trade for Deshaun because he's such a difference maker and they have to win right now. But we have to also give up the second round pick.
Right.
Because he's so bad, that's the only way we can get rid of him?
Yeah. Wait, what?
Yeah.
That was literally the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
And then it frees up all this money, but it doesn't really free up hardly any money because they damn near make almost the same amount
per year.
Right.
And then the thing that also is crazy about it, because I really thought this through and I was just tried to listen to his take on it. And he's like, man, the NFC is so tough. Green Bay, San Francisco. And I'm like, what about the AFC? What about the killers in the AFC? You got the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes.
That's
you got
a good
Buffalo,
point, man.
Josh Allen. Look at our division.
Yeah.
You think Daniel Jones can stay upright against Baltimore, against Pittsburgh? It's just crazy.
Well, and he started off saying something stupid where he's like, they have Dorian Thompson-Robinson. They have Joe Flacco. First of all, we do not have Joe Flacco.
No.
He is not under contract, you dipshit. And second of all, did you watch DTR this year? I'm sorry. That's not an argument in favor of getting Daniel Jones on the roster. Are you kidding me? Daniel Jones is terrible.
Daniel Jones can be successful in the East against Washington. Now, don't get me wrong. Obviously, Philly and Dallas are okay, but I mean, do we not think the AFC North is a better division than the AFC East?
His whole point that we could get out of Daniel Jones' contract after 1 year? Was that that? Is that because it just makes no sense?
And he made it sound like the Browns aren't trying to win right now.
Hey, bro, we're in this is it.
This is our window.
We are trying to win.
The time is now.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones makes $40 million a year.
Right.
It's just $40 million too much.
$40 million a year. So people will say Deshaun Watson has the worst contract in sports.
You know what? Another thing too.
Daniel Jones makes $40 million a year.
I could be way off on this, and this is just my personal opinion. Daniel Jones is a little athletic and can do some things. Daniel Jones kind of reminds me of a former quarterback that we had where everything had to be pretty damn good. You know what I mean? And even then, he's had one kind of okay year. It's not like
he just got lucky and had it in the contract year.
Yes.
Right.
And
put him in a bad spot.
And I know you're talking about Baker, but
you don't know that I'm talking about Baker.
I take Baker Mayfield over Daniel Jones any day
for sure.
At least I feel like there are times when Baker can put it all together and go out there and win a ball game here and there, but not Daniel Jones.
People will crap on the Browns and say that they screwed Baker. They made the hard decision that the Giants didn't make.
Right.
And you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It was very similar.
Yep.
And the Browns made the tough decision, which is when you want your people in charge to be able to do. You want them to be like, I know this is going to give us some heat, but I can take that heat because this is what I think is best for the team. And they moved on from Baker. And whether they were going to move on from whether Deshaun Watson was on the table or not, they were saying all this stuff in public. He was not coming back. Okay, they were moving on. and because they knew he wasn't worth $40 million a year, and the Giants didn't do that, and now they are up shit creek.
Yes, that is a great point because they were in the same situation as the Browns, and they copped out and said, we'll just pay this guy because we're too cheap to go out and get a better guy. We don't know what to do. We have a shitty management. I don't know what their
Paid
situation
him instead
was.
of Saquon.
Yeah. I mean, again, it goes back to you don't pay your running backs. But Daniel Jones, really? $40 million a year? Yeah, I love that. Deshaun Watson is not the worst contract in his sport.
Correct. So, and then you said something dumb if Aaron Goldhammer is pushing back on you. Okay. And I saw him, they had Tannenbaum on, and he was like, the Giants are trying to win right now. And he was like, we're trying to win right now. Like we have a better roster than the Giants do. We are in win now mode. And Tannenbaum's just fumbling over himself. And I'm like, if Goldhammer is telling you you're dumb, you went off the rail, stupid. Because Goldhammer is like, that dude that ate literal horse shit on
Yes,
you know what I mean? So if that guy is telling you said something stupid, you messed up.
Well, and then he says it on ESPN, something stupid, and then he doubles down on it. It's like at some point you just got to step back and say, "Man, I really shouldn't have said that."
They have production meetings. Whenever he came up with this in the production meetings at GetUp, you'd have to think so everybody was like, "What the fuck did this guy just say?"
Yeah.
It's about the clicks, bro.
And that's what leads me to does anybody even watch ESPN and this stuff? Like GetUp, do
I used to like
do we
GetUp
take
a
this
lot
stuff
a couple
serious
years
anymore?
ago.
Oh, it's not serious anymore though. Yeah. It's not a serious industry.
So there was a time in my life, especially like when I was younger and single and lived by myself and nobody else was, I would watch SportsCenter and then I would watch
Cold
the exact
pizza.
same SportsCenter.
Yeah.
And then I would watch the exact same. It was just on my TV, and I just watched it.
I did that as a kid,
over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And I'd be honest, outside of a football game on Monday night or something, I don't remember the last time I turned on ESPN. Even during football season, and I know like the guy gets on my nerves. I watch The Herd a million times before I would turn on ESPN because Colin might annoy the crap out of me, but at least it's sports.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And I like Dan Orlovsky. I still don't watch it. Ryan Clark he's about 50-50. It's bad. Yes, I don't remember the last time I watched it. And at one point, it was the only thing I watched. Back like the golden age when they had the This Is SportsCenter commercials and it had the ticker on the side. So you knew what was coming up next. And the top 10 was coming up. And I'd just be watching just to get to the top 10. Not anymore, man.
Nope.
Not anymore.
What about Pat? You ever watch Pat? It's kind of fun, man.
I watch like more clips of Pat than I actually just sit down and watch his show. I tell you, I think what really started like the downward trend for ESPN was when they went to both coasts. But they had all their talent in one building. I used to watch Stan and Neil at night.
Yeah.
And then they went out West Coast and they didn't start coming on till, I was already going to bed. And those were the funniest guys. They got rid of, I don't think Kenny Mayne's there anymore. Maybe he is. I can't remember, but if he is, he's not there very often.
Couldn't tell you.
They lost all the talent. You know what I mean? And it's
one thing.
It's not even watchable. My
biggest takeaway from like ESPN and a lot of these sports shows anymore is I don't feel the sincerity. Like there's nothing genuine about it. It's all. I feel like it's scripted. They just bring up random bullshit just for argument's sake, and it's like,
no, that's fair. I mean, that's what sells.
Like there's no way. There's no way. Did Tannenbaum really think this is a good trade idea? I mean, seriously,
maybe.
But then somebody thought that it was worth letting him say.
Yeah,
come on, really?
I mean, they had it at the bottom and everything. They were ready for it.
I don't want to
it was coming.
Get into too much about the world or whatever, but what's killing sports? We'll keep it this: the 24-hour news cycle. And social media. They have to just say stupid stuff to try to get you to watch so they can clip it because it's the only way to stay relevant.
Yeah.
And you have to have something to talk about 24/7. It's not, you can't, it doesn't just stop at one point. They have to have stuff to talk about 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. I just hate like reactionary media anymore. Like, this person has a bad game, and then for the whole next week is his career over? Or he has a good game, is he an MVP? Like, can we just watch a football season? And I know, like, we do a weekly podcast and we talk about stuff on a day-to-day, week-to-week basis, but that's why all throughout the season I was like, guys, let's relax. Let's like watch maybe the next couple games before we decide if we're good or not.
Think about Browns fans.
You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, literally 8 weeks ago, there were still Browns fans talking about Kevin Stefanski needed to be fired. I mean, that's a real thing that we heard daily.
I still hear it,
multiple times. I believe it. I believe, which is wild to me.
I know.
It's just, it's everything is 100% go or like nothing. And it drives me nuts. And that's all ESPN is anymore. And like, you got Ryan Clark going on there saying that the hardest thing I had to do all year was pretend like Brock Purdy was an MVP candidate. But there's 1,000 clips. And you weren't pretending. And then even afterwards, he'll say something like, oh, Brock Purdy showed me what he could do. And like, bro, 10 minutes ago, you said you were pretending. So what? So now, should I not believe anything you ever say? Because you were pretending because the producer in your ear told you to act like you thought he was good. So it's not even your own opinion. If I want your own opinion, I got to go watch your podcast.
Right.
You know, so it's just like, why listen to anything any of them say?
I will say that is one thing that I really enjoy about, and this is off Browns topics and stuff. I just podcasting in general. I love that we're an independent podcast. We're beholden to nobody.
No.
We say what we want to say, what we believe, and
until we get kicked off of YouTube.
And then it doesn't matter. You can't kick us off of Spotify. You can't kick us. I mean, we'll always be somewhere. I like it.
At your mom's house.
I moved out of there. What are you talking about?
So no, quite arguably the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
There's a reason that dude, I saw something. This is what made me chuckle when I was looking up hit some of his stats. Here we go. His time with the Miami Dolphins. After acting as consultant for the team during the he became the vice president of football operations starting February 1st, 2015. After acting as a consultant for the team during the 2014 NFL season. On December 31st, 2018, he was reassigned from his duties without a defined purpose. So his last time, like in charge of a team or whatever, they were just like, "Hey, man, you just like, can you go do something? Like, we'll keep paying you. Just like go hide somewhere.
Find something to do.
Yeah, like, could you grab a broom? You know, like you don't get to make any decisions.
Get to
anymore.
the bottom of this for us.
Yeah, like, hey, yeah, I heard somebody said something. Can you just go away? That's essentially what happened to him. And then all of a sudden he pops up on, this is a guy who's considered an expert.
Right. And that's why these shows are failing and nobody cares anymore because.
Hey, we all have the internet. It took me 5 seconds to realize that Mike Tannenbaum fucking sucks at his job. You know?
That's fair.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I can find that out very quickly. So why would I listen to this guy?
Mm-hmm. Now, especially when this is the stuff he says.
Yes. If he wanted to talk numbers, okay, because I'm not going to do that. But to just like sit here and talk about these player personnel decisions you would make when I can just jump on Google and be like, oh, you got told to just go hang out in a broom closet at the end of your tenure. You're under 500 for your career. Okay, so maybe I shouldn't take you that serious.
Right.
Yep.
So yeah, I was gonna do like my first solo outing talking about this, but I knew we were gonna talk about it on the show. Okay.
When are you starting that, by the way? I guess, are we announcing it to everybody right now?
I don't want to make any commitments. I finally got my a new home set up. I got the recording program set up. I actually put it out in the Discord today, what they wanted me to talk about. So I'm going to hopefully start dropping some stuff. Is it weird if I call it solo content? Does that make it sound?
No,
does that make it sound erotic?
Blake's takes, man. Blake's takes. It's not behind a paywall yet, so just keep your socks on.
Mm-hmm. Or don't, bro.
I can't make any promises.
I kind of figured.
It'll just be like me, like pushing my fingers between my big toe and my...
Jesus.
I just broke the internet. People are going to be lining up.
Our first 1 million view video on YouTube.
Yeah.
Look at those disgusting ass feet.
Those look like the feet of a guy who doesn't walk too much, but when he does, it hurts because he's heavy.
His knees.